So I've been paragliding for 10 years, I guess, since '95. And I have a paragliding school in Santa Barbara, and we like to fly there. But we come up here to Don Pedro to get with the O'Connors for SIV training for all our students, for sure. It's a good thing.
I got into paragliding because it was one of the cool flying things that I hadn't seen before. It came to my hometown. A guy started up a school there, and before I knew it, I was an apprentice so that I could afford to do the lessons. And then I got gear and decided that I had a choice. I could either get a real job and try to do it on the weekends, or I could do this full time and get as much flying as I can. And I think I made the right choice. So I'm pretty happy I did it that way. So I've been doing this since 1991, and I still feel like I'm learning a lot, and I'm getting better at it, but I don't think I've got it figured out yet.
People really don't fly their gliders like they're supposed to be flown in the beginning. They don't bank it up like they need to sometimes for thermaling. And I think they're kind of afraid to go to that place where the thing's turning like it can be for a nice bank up and a sharp, high pressure thermal. And they come out here and they get to do a lot of stuff that they've only read about. Big ears and beeline stalls, asymmetric tip folds, and usually when they come, by the time they've left, they've come such a long way with their confidence and just their understanding of how the wing flies. They take that home with them, and it makes them feel better about their flying, really.
So I didn't always think SIV was necessarily the right way to go, because I was fortunate enough as an instructor or an apprentice instructor or just a hanger-oner in the sport to get a lot of flying time, and I learned a lot of stuff on my own. But I realized that not everybody's as lucky or in that line of work, so they need something. And to replace that, the SIV is the only way to go. You have to get out to the boat, get out to the lake, get somewhere safe, get high consistently, and you can do things you just wouldn't be able to do in a time frame that's reasonable.
I guess I've been doing clinics with Inlo and Ann for 5 years now, and we used to do them out in Arizona, and we've kind of hopped around to some different places, but I was always about getting my students flights. When I was here, I was being the drogue boy and getting everybody hooked up, but I do a few tows, and in the last year or two, I've started doing some more acro type stuff. I was doing asymmetric spirals first, and those are fun. And then Inlo got me going on full stalls and tail slides and some loops. And this trip I did my first helicopters, and those are fun. So it's fun, you know, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you can come to one of these clinics and there's sort of two aspects to it. You can come and do it for safety and learn how your wing behaves, and then after you've got a handle on that, there's a whole nother world out there for the acro thing where you can wang it up and do some stuff that's just a ton of fun. And I haven't got wet yet, so it's you know, it's something you should definitely check out.
It took me years and years and years to get the experience I finally got, and you can condense that in a few weekends. So it just makes sense. I mean, most of us have responsibilities, and unfortunately my responsibility, or fortunately mine, is that I get to do this all the time, but other people have only weekends or maybe a week off or two a year. And if they can use that on this and catch up a little bit, then the flying experience is going to be so much more satisfying and safe, and just makes sense. This is only my second time out with Ann and Inlo, and I have just a ball. And I realized that, yeah, after all those years, I've learned that some of this stuff I did know, but I still learn a lot. And it doesn't matter what level you're at, you're going to learn a lot. And people that are afraid to come out, I find, once they see it, they say, gosh, I can do as little or as much as I want. And that's a huge thing to set their psyche in order and get them happy and flying comfortably. And you can do it at any level, from big ears to, as other people were doing, helicopters and ass choppers and all kinds of cool things that you don't want to do at home.
It's good to come to these things and toss your reserve, see what that's like too. I've done that twice. Usually do it at the end of the day so it doesn't slow the towing process down.
These courses are nice because they force you into seeing that, and even if you don't do it yourself personally, you can watch other people do maneuvers, and they can have events, and you go, oh wow, I guess I don't need to reinvent that one. And so you're learning on the ground, you're learning in the air, you're learning whether you're watching from the boat. There's so much information. To video it is a really good thing because you can review it again and again. And so hopefully this video will provide that for people. I see paragliding is just like rock climbing or driving a car or anything else like that. I mean, you get out of it what you put into it, and if you're a dangerous person, it's going to be a risky sport. It's already flying, it's risky enough as it is. Without endeavoring to figure out how to learn these things that can go wrong proactively, they're going to sneak up on you eventually. The nature of the air is there's always a curve around that's going to come and surprise you. So if you're actively seeking out the dark corners that nobody likes to think about, and you make friends with that, or at least have an appreciation of how to avoid that or know what your limits are, you're going to be way better off. This sport can be done very safely. Many people have had long, non-eventful in the sense of injuries, flying careers doing this. And while I think there's always going to be some fender benders in any sport, I've broken my collarbone riding my bicycle. You know, this is a pretty tame sport considering the injuries I've had in other sports. So I don't think it's unrealistic to do these kinds of courses and do it in the name of safety to further your success.